Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Life Zone podcast. I'm your co-host Eric Pannell,
And I'm Xavier Lanier.
and on this podcast, we talk about the parallels of sports and life. We try to cover it all. This podcast is sponsored by Appliance Medic. Depending on what coast you're in, it's probably reaching 100 degrees, 100 and plus, or whatever. You definitely want to get your HVAC fixed up. Your air condition. You can relate to this as well, like I can, man. This air condition thing, you got to have. It's a necessity right now. So make sure you reach out to Appliance Medic if you're in the Charlotte area. You can download them on iPhone or Android. If you have a small business or any size business, really, be sure to reach out to Phase Consulting Partners. They can help you with your portfolio development and training needs. What's up, man?
Man, I'm glad to be back in the studio, man. I'm glad to be back. It's been a long 2.5 weeks, man, but here we are. I'm excited. We got game 7 tonight.
Game 7. So
We got the final starting on Thursday. Yes. Yes.
here, so episode 19. We got Joe Montana in Kansas City.
You went there?
Yeah. It's 19. Joe Montana, Kansas City.
Man, I thought you were gonna come out with Juju Smith-Schuster or something, man.
That's another one.
Joe Montana in Kansas City.
Usually with these numbers, I like to go deep in the think tank.
Man, when you hear Joe Montana, you just think 16 automatic.
Yeah.
16 automatic, man. But I got you.
Yeah. All right, man. Game 7 today, man. That's what we start with. So before we go to game 7, I want to go to game 6. Because I posted in the Fans Pub group today the stat line for Jimmy Butler. So, and I said with that picture, when you're making a phone call to the superstar, that's what that stat line is supposed to look like in the playoffs. In big games, that's what it's supposed to look like. What you think about Jimmy, man?
He was super aggressive in game 6, right? Which is what he was supposed to do.
Yep.
He did what they needed him to do. I just don't know if he can do it again in game 7, right? Like I said this before about Jimmy Butler, like his offense, his mid-range game, his post up, like all that, his going to the rack, all that's great. But the key to keeping him in control is to keep him off the free throw line.
Yeah,
because he'll turn a 23 point, 25 point night into a 40 point night because he's gonna be 17 for 17 at the line. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You get a 40 point stat line, and everybody's singing your praises. But hey, game 7 tonight is I'm expecting an instant classic. So we'll see, man. I'm worried about Boston. Like to be as talented as they are, their road to the finals should not have been this tough.
Yeah,
just my opinion. The games again, like they swept the Nets, right?
Yeah.
And you go up against a wounded Milwaukee team, and they go 7.
Yep.
Right. And then you come in against a wounded Miami team, and you going 7 again. Like I don't understand, man. And then when you watch the games, you see how Boston's late game execution in close games have cost them at least 5 games.
Yeah,
this playoff.
Now that you brought that up, has there ever been? I don't expect you to. If you do, I'm gonna be impressed. But I'm gonna throw this out there: has there ever been an NBA Finals champion that their journey has been all game 7?
Off the top of my head, that comes to mind.
I gotta look that up. I'm curious to know. Now that you threw that out there, I'm curious to know. Has that been the case?
I don't know. I can't. I know who doesn't know about a game 7, but
you gonna do that
in the finals anyway. In the finals, right?
Yeah.
What's a game 7 in the finals? But you know what I mean? You know,
man, don't get him upset at the podcast.
Got to get a goat his flowers now. Got to get a goat his flowers, man. But yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. But Boston should have easily won. They should have swept the Nets, which they did. They should have easily beat Milwaukee 4-1.
Yeah,
and they could have beat Miami 4-2. Just saying.
Yeah, right? I think straight down the middle. The one thing that I that stuck out to me is the referees played too much of a role in that game, man. There was, and I'm not saying they called it uneven either one way or the other. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure if you're a Boston fan, you'd say different. I'm pretty sure you're a Miami fan, you'd say different. But just a guy on the outside looking in, not rooting for either team. The referees played too much, like far too much of a role in that game, man. They either
Mm-hmm.
had missed calls, they had bad calls. Some of these, like, and let's go there, man. These flagrant foul calls that they're reviewing and then even calling flagrant fouls.
Mm-hmm.
What's your thoughts on this?
I think it's bad for the game.
Yeah,
Honestly, it slows the game down. It's so a 2 hour and 15-minute game is turned into 3 hours with all these challenges. Um, it's not swaying the outcome any, right. It's just that this last game and this last game in Boston Miami had, like, the refs definitely played a role, right.
right.
Like, two calls come to mind that changed the course of that game. The and one that Tatum should have had, what they called the offensive foul,
Mhm.
right, for a move, for him doing something that everybody does.
Yeah,
They're off arm, right. It's not necessarily extending it, but it's out there as protecting yourself, right.
yeah,
So they called the offensive foul there, and then Jimmy Butler going to the rack and stepping on Robert Williams' foot, right. No foul there,
right.
but he takes a bad step and goes out of bounds, and that should be Boston's ball, but they get the ball back to Miami. Like, what? What are we doing, man? Those two plays had a definite impact on the outcome of this game, and both plays went Miami's way.
Yeah.
So, not a conspiracy theorist, but I could understand the argument.
Right,
You know what
right.
I mean? When I see it for myself, it's hard to deny the argument. So here we are, game 7.
Yeah, it's game 7. I mean, it's just I think a lot of these flagrant calls, man, they're just these flagrant foul calls. They're just making too much of an impact on the game. It's slowing down the momentum of the game too. Like you're
Mm-hmm.
starting to get flowing and all this stuff, and then you gotta sit here and watch the referee looking at the monitor and hear Van Gundy and Mark Jackson disagree whether it's a flagrant foul or not. Even though that
Mm-hmm.
is funny to hear them disagree about it, but it's
Yeah, just filling the space, just filling the air, because it's
yeah,
all this dead ball time. These extra timeouts coaches get. That's what it turns into.
yeah, yeah. Two players I want to focus on this series. I know they got to play the game at night, but I want to project forward. Tyler Hero and Bam, neither one of them are max players to me.
Agreed.
I look at Bam in this last game when Jimmy was out there, and I kept seeing Jimmy come up to him during the game. Like, look, man, like I couldn't read his lips what he was saying, but I got the gist that he was like, you need to kind of help me out. You need to step
Mm-hmm.
up.
I need a little more out you. I need a little more. Need a little
Yeah,
more.
yeah. I mean, you could tell they didn't even want to put him back in the game. Like I kept looking around, like where's Bam at?
Yeah, Bam is not ultra aggressive. He hasn't been ultra aggressive in this series either. He's kind of, and I don't know if that goes back to the last series, where he wasn't much of an impact there either. So I don't know what's going on with him. Um, but he has an opportunity to make it right, right? Because game 7 is where stars are made. You know what I mean? This is where the legend is born for some players, right? Oh, he had a great game 7 way back when, right?
Right.
So, like, Steve Kerr's claim to fame is hitting that big shot.
Yep.
You see what I'm saying? And he tells that joke during the parade. It's ultra funny, but I get it, man. You
Right.
know, he's out there talking about Mike came to him and was like, he didn't want to take the shot, so Steve, you had to do it. And Steve was like, well, I guess I'll save him again. Guess I'll save Mike one more time. And here
Right.
we are, hitting the big shot top of the key, man. But yeah, that stuff like that, man. Like, game 7 is where you can make it all right, and hopefully, to me, I hope tonight's going to be an instant classic. That's what I expect. So I expect it to be close all the way through. A couple lead changes here and there. You're gonna have your runs, but I expect this to be a classic. Going to the finals, leave it all out there. Everybody, let's go.
I'm ready for it, man. Let's see how it does. I mean, the thing is, I think this is going to be the the anticlimactic moment of the finale of the season.
Mm-hmm.
Because, and you let me know, you disagree with me, you know, as far as I think if, regardless if it's Boston or Miami,
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's going past 6, maybe 5.
In the finals,
Yeah.
I think Boston has the ability to extend the series and actually beat Golden State. But I don't think Miami has the firepower to do it.
They don't.
Even if they like they defensively, they don't have the matchups to just slow them boys down.
Right.
I think Boston has the defensive pieces to play them straight up and make their stars work on both ends, which obviously helps out in the fourth quarter when everybody's on the same playing field as far as energy and that kind of stuff. So I think Boston can beat Golden State. I think the only thing that's going to hamper Boston in the finals if they make it would be their late game execution.
Yeah.
Their inexperience in that, and as you like I said, all through these playoffs, their late game execution has not been up to the championship level. And they're going up against a veteran Golden State team that has been to the finals 6 out of 8 years. So we know what we do when we get here. And I promise you, any mistakes that Boston makes, Golden State will capitalize.
Yeah.
So
You've got Poole could have a big night. Clay could have a big night. Steph could have a big night. Wiggins could have a good big night. They just got so many options that, you know, any guy can have an off night and the other two could play lights out.
I'm excited to see the matchups. I expect to see some cross matches, but obviously because you don't want your offensive stars, Klay Thompson and Steph Curry, matched up with Tatum and Brown, right? Or even Marcus Smart for that matter, because he is savvy enough to draw the fouls that'll put Steph on the bench.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Same thing with Klay. Like Tatum is savvy enough to get the fouls that'll put Klay on the bench. So I'm curious about the matchups. Draymond, I don't know. You would think he would end up on Brown or Tatum, but then you got big men on Boston side that can do damage too. So I'm curious to see how the matchups shake out, man. But it's going to be entertaining. And if Miami gets to the finals against Golden State, I don't see that series going past 5.
No. But with that, going back to that Boston matchup, you were saying, who is Steph going to guard? Marcus Smart?
I mean, that would size-wise, that'd probably be his best option.
Yeah.
Right? Or yeah, that's all he got. He can't hold Brown or Tatum. He's not big enough. And obviously Horford will take him in the box. And who will start? Williams, one of the Williams boys. So
gotta be.
Yeah. He's gonna have to run around with Marcus Smart. But Marcus Smart, his energy level offensively, it's gonna cause some problems. But I feel like Marcus Smart is the one you would let shoot, and without fouling, and then hope he has an off night.
Yeah.
But yeah, Tatum and Brown will take Steph in the box, and that's gonna be a problem.
Yeah, they'll do to him what they did at Boston in the other series where they were running that pick and roll. They're gonna try to get either Jaylen Brown or Tatum at the top of the key, and they try to get Steph in that pick and roll and create that matchup. That's what they're gonna attack.
So the problem is when Boston goes to the pick and roll against whoever the guard is, and whichever big man is being guarded by what's Golden State's big dude?
Looney.
Who?
Looney. That's his name?
I ain't hear you.
Looney? Is that his name?
Yeah. So when Golden State goes into that against Looney, they're gonna have to be aggressive in trying to score. And Dallas tried that; it didn't work out so well.
Right.
So, how does that shake out in the game planning for this series, right? Because obviously you don't want to put Draymond in that pick and roll action and have him switching out on your score, because then that's gonna be a problem. Because Draymond is known as a defensive player. So, In the matchups, man, it's going to be interesting, and how you attack those matchups is that's why they pay the coaches. That's why they pay coaches, man. Watch the film and figure it out.
100%.
Watch the film and figure it out.
Speaking of Steve Kerr, man, I was glad to see him. Definitely don't want to go deep into this, but that, the track shooting down there in Texas, it was good to see him kind of speak out. I know he had personal experience. I think his dad, if I understand the history, his dad was assassinated or something like that. Steve Kerr.
Yeah. So and some folks were like, "Oh, was that real? Was that fake or whatever?" I encourage folks to get to know Steve Kerr, like go into his history. Yeah, his dad was a university professor in Beirut and got killed doing some terrorist activities. So yeah, he has definitely personal experience in that situation, firsthand knowledge. He understands what the family goes through because his family went through it back in, I think, '84. Is when his dad was killed in Beirut. So yeah, that was genuine to me. It was genuine given his history and very to the point. Bravo on him for standing up and using his platform to get that message out. Yeah. And I'm 100% behind that, man. We need to do more, and it starts. Not like you said, not trying to get too deep into it, but it starts in DC, man, at the Capitol. So that's my take on that.
Yeah, I mean, he's been consistent. It's been other issues that he's definitely spoke of. Didn't have to be necessarily about gun violence or anything like that, but he's been about speaking up, which, that's what you want. And, again, not want to go too far off topic, as I'm scrolling social media, Instagram and everything, and, I saw the various personalities on ESPN kind of reacting to it. Some of them were very emotional. And then I'm seeing people on Instagram and social media, man, saying that ESPN needs to get out of their political soapbox. And I'm like, are we at a point now we don't want people to be human, man? And we're trying to guess if people are being truly sincere and emotional about a tragic situation, even though it's far away, it's in Bristol, Connecticut, where ESPN, some of the other places, but still, it's just the humanity side of it that people will go to great lengths to devalue the fact that people are sharing in the issues and what's happening. It's just I don't understand
it. Hey man, social media is a gift and a curse, right? Those who use it for good are doing great things in this world, and then you have those who are not using it for good and they are getting hurt, right? Drama sales and controversy sales and all that kind of stuff. So just to play devil's advocate sometimes is beneficial to some. And they take advantage of situations like this, which is bad.
Yeah.
So I'm not trying to get too far off of it, man. I could obviously me being military and dealing with, terrorism and violence and all that kind of stuff. I have a perspective that I could share, or that I have feelings on the situation that necessarily may not be the best, but at some point it has to end, and unfortunately it won't end until we make major changes in how things are done in DC. So, and that's whole nother topic, whole nother day for discussion.
Yeah. Well, yeah, definitely jumping off of that. But kudos to the NBA for always being front and center.
Absolutely, leading from the front. That's right.
I definitely enjoy that. All right, so we already know we got. So if you were putting money down, you got win. I know you said you hope win in your gut.
I'm still one of your lines, man. When it comes to money and betting, I had to bet with my wallet, man, not my heart. So the smart money is Golden State, but my heart says Boston.
Boston.
But we'll see how that goes, man.
Who you got tonight?
Tonight, I'm gonna say Boston tonight, man. And Boston hasn't lost back-to-back games in the playoffs, so I'm standing on that. Yeah. I'm gonna stand on that right there.
Just on the principle alone that I think Jimmy, because Tara said this as the game was wrapping up, she's like, with him being so tired and giving out as much as he gave out today, how's that going to translate to Game 7? I said, well, that's the human element of it.
That's that back to back, man.
Guys ain't machines. They like video games where they can come in and put a 60-point night the one night, then don't a 75 the next night. These are human beings, man. They got wear and tear on them, just like human beings. You know what I'm saying? So it's
He
gonna be
proved his
interesting.
point. He came out as a superstar would, and he
Yeah.
said, "Hey, we're not losing tonight." Game 7 though, like you said, back being able to do that back to back,
Stuff,
different things, man.
stuff.
Two different things. And again, Boston ain't lost back to back games, all playoffs. So if the history repeats itself in this case, Boston's gonna win Game 7 again,
Yeah,
and off to San Francisco on Thursday.
man. On the lighthearted side, man, why don't they just go ahead and give Udonis Haslam a coaching job, man?
I mean, I think he got one, man. He just likes to put the suit on.
I mean,
I think he likes to wear the uniform, man. But he
put a
don't
suit on.
play, and he always on the sideline pumping people up and trying to play coach. But he
And
just likes to be in the sweats.
And ready to fight.
Yeah. Well, that's another one of his roles. Now, if he do get in the game, hey, like you said, he's that guy you put in the game, take a couple fouls.
Yeah. You got 6. Just
go get him, UD. Go get him. He's that guy to go in there and take some serious fouls. But he gonna take some serious ones.
Yeah,
not coming to the lane with him down there, buddy.
Nah, he got that reputation around the league that he's not to be played with.
Yeah, he old school, man. He gonna hard foul what we used to do on my day. That's him.
Yeah.
He gonna knock a couple people down. But yeah, man, he needs to be on payroll, man. Give him one of them polos or what the coaches be wearing now. Them team shirts. You need to get one of those, man. Take the uniform off, man. No more pull off sweats. Get that man a team shirt, man, and some slacks.
Just so we know it ain't even a shop for him to get.
Yeah, man.
Just go ahead and put my man.
I don't want to see his name in the box score or DNP. DNF. Coach's decision. Yeah, we don't need that, man. It's done deal. He getting game checks. He should be getting coaching checks.
This is not a what's my man? Is an insider Woj? Is that his name?
Yeah.
This is not a Woj bomb I'm about to throw on you, but I did see a headline somewhere that, and I don't know if it came from him or not, but I'm just telling what I read, that Kevin Durant stated that if Kyrie doesn't resign, he's not resigning with Brooklyn.
I saw that.
What's your thought?
I mean, I want to say it's true. Like I don't know. I haven't talked to Kevin myself, so I don't know his feelings on it.
Yeah.
But I want to say it's true because he only went to New Jersey because of Kyrie. So if the reason why I came here is no longer here, then why am I here? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that makes perfect sense to me. My issue is the contract situation.
Where are you gonna go?
Right. Like I mean, Kevin obviously could go anywhere he wants, right? Where he called the GM up and say, "I want to come to your team," they're gonna make it happen, right? Kyrie though, he's a little different situation because of his off the court stuff, right? And then you got to answer that distraction question and all that kind of stuff. So he can't make a phone call and say, "Hey, I want to come to your team." GM gonna be like, "Yeah, we'll get back to you."
Yeah.
But when Kevin called, "Oh yeah, give me a couple of days, man. I'll make it. I'll see what I can come up with and reach out." You know what I'm saying? That's the difference. So
yeah, I mean, if we can give if KD was on the podcast, we'd give him the truth. So, hey man, we're not recording this. It's just the 3 of us guys on here talking sports.
Have a conversation.
I had a question with you. What's your true thoughts about Kyrie and James Harden right now? I just sit there and shut up and just want to listen to what he got to say.
Yeah, that'd be an interesting conversation. I mean, for a lot of people, really,
because he's
anybody on the court.
Well, he's taken all the bullets in terms of the criticism of both James Harden and Kyrie.
Mm-hmm.
He took all the bullets. I never once heard him say not one thing negative ever.
Mm-hmm.
And like he could have, and I just missed it. But I haven't seen anything out there that he said.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's just not that. He's not that guy to be. I don't think. I can't say I've never heard him say anything bad about his teammate.
Nah.
Yeah. Even in OKC when he was with Russ, like whenever Russ would jack up a shot in the last minute and they would lose, he said, "Hey, that's my guy."
Took a lot of bullets there.
Yeah, that's my guy, man. I ride with Russ, and hey, he didn't get it this time, but he'll get it next time. Right. So yeah, that's always been Kevin's mentality, man, and that's pretty much true to who he is, though.
So if Kyrie doesn't sign, and let's say whatever reason KD just wants to stay there and it doesn't work out, he's got to be there. Obviously, there's a glaring open spot. You got Ben Simmons. Do we even count him at this point? All right.
I mean, you got to, man. He on the roster.
All right. So
I mean, at some point, you expect him to play.
All right. So you got Ben Simmons and another guy.
Mm-hmm.
Who would you put in that spot? I've been hearing rumors about Paul George wanting to figure some things out, join some other teams or something like that. Who's the other guy? That's it.
I'm curious to see what Damian Lillard looks like when he comes back. So I think he wants out of Portland.
So he's changed on this because he's been loyal to this point. He's been.
Yeah, I think he's. I mean, obviously in public, he's gonna say, yeah, he's gonna say all the right things. But I think behind the scenes, he's told some folks he wanted out of Portland. Because at this point, he's not. Not saying that he wants to team up with superstars or anything, but he's definitely looking for a chance to win. So I'm pretty sure he's convinced that Portland is not that destination. So he needs to move to wherever that's going to be.
I'd like to see him in Brooklyn.
Absolutely. I'd like to see him in a couple places.
I think that'd be boxing. I'd definitely sign up for that.
Yeah, he'd definitely be that. He'd be that Batman and Robin situation that KD would need to be competitive in this league. So I would be excited about that. Hopefully, I've seen some stuff about the Knicks, him trying to get to the Knicks or wanting the Knicks or possibly going to the Knicks. But yeah, wherever he lands, I hope he's got a good supporting cast that can help him get to where he's trying to get to.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, because the last thing you want to do is leave Portland, and then you go right back into the same situation you was in, and the reason why you left Portland. You know, there's a lot of NBA players. Did you post the other day? It was a list of guys that didn't. I think it was the top 15 guys that didn't win a championship. I don't want to see. I don't want to see him there. I don't want to see him on that list.
Yeah, that list was a little controversial, man. I'm just gonna. I understand names that were there, but then there were some other folks that had some pretty good honorable mentions down there that didn't make the list, right? And so I would question. I'm gonna say John Stockton. I get his role that he played in Utah with Karl Malone as a tandem, but take him off that team and see still the John Stockton, right? Does he still have the impact he has without Karl Malone? Does Karl Malone still have the impact he has without John Stockton? You see what I'm saying?
That's a good question. Yeah. Because that offense, the style of coach that's Coach Sloan played during that time, in terms of that offense with that pick and roll offense. I mean, one can say, you know, that
I feel like Karl Malone in his prime could have went anywhere and been Hall of Fame Karl Malone, MVP Karl Malone, productive Karl Malone. I don't see that in John Stockton's game. Yeah, I don't see him going somewhere else and being as efficient, the assist, because he was just throwing the ball to Karl Malone to post up, mid-range, pick and roll layup, whatever. It was always the mailman delivering on a Stockton pass.
Isaiah would agree with you with that dream team stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Isaiah would agree with you.
And you know what? And to that point, right? How many players on the dream team could walk around in a foreign city, right, and not be recognized?
Yeah, he was definitely that guy.
He was the only one.
No,
he told that story. He was the only one. He approached a lady on the sidewalk and she had on the dream team shirt with all the faces on it. He was like, "How you doing? Do you know who I am?" And she had no clue. And then at some point, he just finally pointed to his face on her shirt, and she was like, "Oh yeah," like yeah, he's the only one that had that anonymity to do that.
I'm that guy that's what I would want. I just want to be low key.
Yeah, man, I just want to be a regular guy, man. I'm just out here enjoying it, the experience like everybody else. Nobody else could do that.
Right. Yeah.
Everywhere Charles went, everywhere Charles Barkley went, he was life of the party. Everywhere.
So I'm torn with Charles. I'm glad you mentioned him. So obviously I'm a Bulls fan. So
Mm-hmm.
I want Mike to rack up all the championships he can get, right?
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, Charles is in that era.
Mm-hmm.
Stepping back from it now, just as a basketball fan, NBA fan, Charles Barkley fan, I wish Chuck would have got a championship, man.
Yeah, Chuck definitely evolved his game as he got older. That's right. He was always the round man and rebounding and dunking, and then he developed the jump shot throughout his years in the league, where he could be 40% from 3-point line. So yeah, just wasn't enough. Just ran up against that guy. He ran up against that guy, man. What did you like? And I mean, the sad part is Mike has given credentials to so many folks, both directly and indirectly, man. Does Houston get 2 championships if Mike continues to play?
I've got many arguments over that, but I'm going.
You know what I mean? Can Kenny sit up? Can Kenny sit up on the set and say I'm a 2-time champ and all this other stuff?
Nah,
right.
I would love to hear. I'm pretty sure I haven't seen every single TNT show, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Chuck don't hold nothing back. I'm pretty sure Chuck has said that at some point.
I'm pretty sure he has too. But Kenny being Kenny was like, I played with Mike in college, so I knew, or whatever the case may be. And then he always throws it back to, well, we had the dream, so I don't think nobody on the Bulls could stop the dream, which may be true, right?
May be true.
But when it came down to it, you got to get the dream the ball. Nobody has to give Mike the ball. Mike gets it himself.
Mike, so. Yeah. I mean, and people always give the argument that Mike wouldn't have won if it wasn't for the triangle offense and Phil Jackson. Just also that.
What people don't understand or don't realize, right, is sure the triangle offense was great, but there were also points in the game where they weren't running triangle offense.
Right.
It was get the ball to Mike and get out the way.
Yeah.
So you can call it what you want. The triangle offense looked good the first 3 quarters, but crunch time of the 4th quarter, Mike has the ball. He gonna do what he won't do with
it. Yeah.
Don't even expect him to give it up. Same thing. Kobe did the same thing when he was in the triangle offense in LA. You can run the triangle all day, but push come to shove, I'm just gonna take the ball and do my thing. And you got superstars like that, man. That's what it's gonna be.
Yeah, I mean, that's part of the deal, but that's a luxury too, man.
Absolutely, everybody ain't able.
Yeah,
but Phil was able. Phil was able. Yeah. I'm gonna just get it done.
Yeah, I mean, what kind of football news you got, man?
Man, so keeping up with my Commanders and trying to anyway. They're talking about a new stadium being built. Virginia, they're working on that. So that's probably gonna be some good news because obviously our stadium is busted.
Yep.
It's 25, 20-some years old at this point, so it's outdated. So it's about time for a new one. The location may be a little bit of a stretch, maybe a little problem, but the real fans will find a way to get out there. So
I think the last videos where that severe leaking was coming out of the ceiling, and then I think the last straw was when we played Philly.
Yeah, that collapse.
Yeah, I think that was the last straw. I think they had a meeting like the next morning.
I mean, speaking of stadiums, you got the roof leaking in Dallas. The Mavericks, like, hey man, these buildings are old.
Right.
Like you're looking at 25 years of use. It's like it's time for a new one. Honestly, and the way technology is set up, like, look at the Raiders. The Raiders got the prototype.
Oh,
yeah. Raiders Stadium, the Rams new stadium, like they got the prototype, man. Yeah. If it ain't that, you got some renovations coming, baby. They about to do for a new one here in Carolina too.
Yeah. Which means we're about to be paying up on some mortgage to go see these football games.
Hey man, you right about that. Price of tea in China going up, man. Got to pay for these upgrades. But it's all part of the experience, right?
I haven't heard any new major news other than I keep saying this thing where I think I'm trying to blank on his name.
You hear about Cap trying out for the Raiders?
Yeah, I heard lukewarm reviews, but I haven't heard anything definitive that says we potentially might sign.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
I heard about Seattle though. Seattle said they finally came out and admitted that they didn't sign him because they felt uncomfortable with the reaction from Russ.
that's always going to be the problem, right? Reaction that's going to get. But if any franchise that does not, if there's any franchise that ain't concerned about that kind of stuff, would be the Raiders, right? That's been their MO under Al, and Marcus carried that torch and went on with that. So,
Yeah.
I think for him to even get a tryout is a major step forward. Like I said, but I don't know where he stands, how he looked at 34 after such a long layoff, and how that translates to his abilities on the field. So,
Yeah. So, what's your thoughts with Kaepernick? You know, it's out there. We can't, you know,
I'm happy you got a tryout. I mean, that's the first step, right? Now it's on you to it's on him to perform at a level that gets him a contract.
Are you torn between the settlement and him now coming back trying to get to the league?
I'm not, because I don't know the details of the settlement. I don't know the legal ramifications, how that worked out, but I'm confident that when he signed the settlement, right, he understood what it meant for his NFL future. And if there's nothing in there that says he couldn't pursue an NFL future, then why not?
Yeah.
Obviously, I would hope there's nothing that says that he shouldn't pursue it, because if there is, then I got questions for him, like why at this point.
Yeah, I mean, I think the fact that he's trying out or
Mm-hmm.
getting a look, I don't think at that point. I think we can eliminate the fact that there potentially could be language in there, right? Because he would be trying out. I think what I'm looking at is like the optics, because people. Let's not put a face or a color or anything to it, but people that are against Kaepernick, they are like, well, he took a settlement and make statements like the NFL is like slavery, and yet he's coming back to the plantation to work as a slave again. Those are the direct quotes and statements that I'm reading out there. I just how do you feel about the optics of that?
So the optics of it is the settlement, obviously, as an NFL player, where he was the stature of where he was, he got bills to pay.
Yeah.
Right. And so to not get a contract based off of some disagreements, the settlement, I mean, the lawsuit was warranted, right?
Yep.
Obviously, because he won. All right. So that's what under the bridge at this point. You got past that, right? And like you said, there's nothing in there that says you still can't pursue an NFL contract. So that's your dream, and then go forth and conquer, right?
Yeah.
Now with that salary, or if he was to get a contract and he get a salary, like does he pay back the NFL in some kind of way? Like,
good question.
Right. So the details of it, like I said, the details are murky, and we probably will never know all of them, right?
Yeah.
I just know that the man was an NFL talent. He has NFL abilities, right? The NFL tried to blackball him or blacklist him, right? He fought that. He won. And he still has NFL talent, and he still wants to play football.
Yeah.
So, I mean, disregard how you, like, not everybody can disregard how they feel about the situation. But fact of the matter is, the man, if he can still play, he still has the ability and wants to do it, then pursue it.
That's the key. Yeah. 100%.
What about you?
Yeah, I was torn initially, but then I kind of started thinking about like the way you're saying it is, you know, him saying that you got to separate the fact that he's saying the NFL is like slavery. It's basically I'm looking at him saying that this is the mentality that they have and kind of how they function. And obviously, it's not like slavery, but people are going to use that as ammunition to say, well, why are you going to go try to get their check again? Right? So for me, I'm good with it. I do want to see the path forward. I want to see him potentially get a shot to play. I I enjoy, I'm not a 49ers fan, but like I enjoyed when he was there playing and I watched. He had some good things going there. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying?
Mm-hmm.
Harbaugh and all that stuff. That they had a really good team out there.
Mm-hmm.
They just couldn't get it done. But I mean, I don't have a problem with
Like I think the one thing we have to do, or the one thing that's hard for us to do, um, is the tiptoeing around everybody's feelings when it comes to talking about stuff.
it. Yep.
Right? Facts are the facts. I say this a lot around my house. That the truth hurts sometimes,
Yep.
right? The NFL, the way he described that mentality, um, it fits.
Yeah.
Right? It's not way off, right? I get it. People say, well, slaves didn't make X amount of millions of dollars and blah blah blah, right? That's not that's not even, to me, that's not even a valid argument. We know that, but given the work that they were doing, they should have. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, at the end of the day, man, the dude can play football, then that's what he wants to do, and he should, like every other American, every other football player, he should be able to do so.
Yeah.
And if he can't play and he doesn't get a contract because he can't play, solely because he can't play
Right.
at this level, hey, stand on that. Let's be done with it.
Along those lines, X, why do you think the casual fan, and maybe gotta say this the right
Say it,
way,
man. Just say it. Don't tiptoe.
yeah,
Say it.
yeah, the demographic of fan, let's put it that way, that sides with the owners over the players. Why do you think it is? When it comes, let me
I
explain.
mean, that's. I mean, it's all about race, honestly. Like, I mean,
Yeah,
if you want to address the elephant in the room, like the race, politics, all that still matters in this world, in this country, and it's actually getting worse. It ain't getting better, in my opinion. So,
right. Yeah, because the money matters. Like I feel like that's the one thing that everyone goes to. They never mention the owner as the person that needs to, needs to tighten up or do this, unless they do something like, you know, like what happened with the Clippers, Donald Sterling or something like that. And even then, he was getting defense then, right? But I mean, it seems like the fan always kind of leans towards the owner and go in that direction, and like the players, like, hey, you got paid, shut up and show up.
Yeah, like that's the thing, man. Some people will sell their souls for money, whereas some people won't.
Right.
I mean, that's just pretty much what it comes down to. I don't care what I'm getting paid to do this. You still have to treat me with a certain level of respect and dignity and that kind of stuff, right? And if you can't do that, then we got a problem. And how you want to handle that, right? So that's what it came down to. Kaepernick saw an issue. He addressed the issue the best way he knew how, and it rubbed people the wrong way. And again, I am in the military. I understand. I did not understand the argument of, oh, we're disrespecting the military. Well, I don't necessarily agree with that. Right? I'm a member of the military. Now, if you want to kneel or sit down when the Air Force song is playing, I got a problem with that.
Right.
Right. You want to sit down and kneel when Taps is playing or Reveille, then we're gonna have an issue. Those are all military specific.
Right.
National anthem is not. It's just my opinion. So that's how I felt about that. And obviously when you look at the race situation and the way that the owners let's just look at the backup quarterbacks in the league. Right. And let's look at that ratio.
It's comical, right?
Right. In order for an African American quarterback to be in the league at all, they have to be starting. They have to have the ability to start.
Yep.
Right. There are not many career backups that are African American. Just saying.
You 100%. Like the only two I can think of off the top of my head, like recent, Jacoby Brissett. What's my man that was backing up? He's a starter now. He was backing up Russ, and he was in New York. I think he was in the Jets. He's in Seattle right now. Came from Western University.
Not.
He
Doesn't ring a bell.
he came in when Russ went down last year. He finished the season when Russ went out.
I can see the name.
I think it was the second.
Tyrod Taylor, not Tyrod Taylor.
Tyrod Taylor's another one. He was a backup for a minute. Yeah, that one. So but to your point, I agree with you 110%. It's very the fact that we're struggling to name the names, and just off of jokes, we can name some trash backups.
Easy.
That are on the other side.
Easy.
we can name some plenty of those that we can make fun of.
Easy. And I'm not saying that there's none, but at one point these backups were looked at as starters, right? So the point is still there. Like there are no quarterbacks that came into the league as career backup quarterbacks.
That's true.
Of African American descent, right? You got guys that played their whole NFL career as a backup.
Stacking shit.
Right? Come on, man. Like, how do you do that at? Like, look at these guys' stat lines. They've been in the league 12 years. They played in 5 games. Like, come on, man.
There was a special. I forgot who this guy is. I'm actually gonna send you the link. I'll put it up on YouTube. He was the one that backed up Dan Marino. And my man's life, his career is set. He took that money, he invested in some businesses. He's like, man, I had the best NFL career ever without a stat line. All I did was backed up Dan Marino. Barely played, didn't take a lot of hits, not to worry about CTE, none of that.
None of that, man. Living a good life, man. That's all I'm saying. And then these guys, like these backups, go on to be coordinators and then indoctrinated into that pipeline of coaching to continue that lifestyle, right? So yeah, I mean, we could talk about this all day, man, and get into the meat, the nuts and bolts of it. But at the end of the day, man, in race, politics, all that stuff's prevalent in the NFL, and I mean, in life and sports, it's everywhere.
So they're dragging their feet about this Deshaun Watson thing, man. I saw 2 different quotes, 2 separate days now that they're winding down the last bit of the conversations with him in the NFL. I think they're trying to weigh the optics on this right now. I think for them, the NFL would love to just have him play and not take the backlash. But then again, you got the Ben Roethlisberger thing kind of glaringly hanging out there where you're like,
so the franchise has already decided on what they're going to do. It's already been decided. The dude got a contract, a major contract. And it's backloaded. Not front loaded.
Yeah.
But it's backloaded.
Right.
And for me, the writing's on the wall here, man. Like you already know what that is. However, you still have to, like you said, toe those lines and handle it delicately.
Yep.
Right. As to not just come out and say, we're gonna pay these women some money. That's gonna be done. Get back to the business of football. Right. Right or wrong, that's the NFL's position. They just can't come out and say it. They've already said it without saying it with this contract.
Suspension or suspension? Or no? Suspension or no suspension?
Like they have to suspend him because like you said, optics.
Optics is bad.
Does he need to be suspended? In my opinion, no. The dude didn't play all last year because of this. Like that was suspension enough. That's time served to me. I don't know if he got a game check or not. I don't know the finances behind that, but the dude didn't play all last year.
Oh, he got a game check. He got checks. I don't think he didn't miss a check last year.
Oh, okay. Well, even still, like he ain't gonna miss a check this year either. So what are we doing? What are we talking about? So what are we talking about? Like he did, like I said, he didn't play all last year. So what's the difference in keeping him out this year?
Yeah. Well, Browns made sure he wasn't gonna miss too much money.
That's my point exactly. The NFL, because the Browns are part of the NFL, and I'm sure they went through their paces to get this approved, right? With the league, like, yeah, we're gonna do X, Y, and Z. The league said, okay, this is what we're gonna do. That's that. Then the rest of this stuff is just smoke and mirrors, man. We just going through the motions now to let the litigations play out. Chips gonna fall where they may, and then get back to the business of football.
And Baker gonna be playing that stopgap role for the first 4 to 6 games.
It sucks for him. Sucks for him. But hey,
if you're in that position, X, what you gonna do?
I told you, man. I'm not playing. I'm good. I'm straight. I'm not a seat filler.
Right.
Apologies. I'm not that guy.
But I want every bit of my contract. I want every bit of it.
I'm gonna get that because y'all paid me as a starter. So yeah, pay me as a starter to sit over here and look at this clipboard. Hey, I'm like, if I'm Baker Mayfield, I'm looking like Willie Beam on the sidelines, dog. I got my legs crossed. I got my soda. I got my newspaper. Like, what's up? Get your helmet. I told you 1 more 5 minutes ago. What?
Nah, I'm good, man.
I'm good. I'm Willie Beam on the sidelines, man. Watching my bank account.
What y'all gonna do? Trade me?
Thank you. I'm watching my account balance on my phone, man. Waiting at the deposit to hit. Y'all can miss me with that. No, sir.
Man.
Nah, man.
I don't know how you gonna. He got to have to work some magic to get up out of there.
I mean, the magic is simple, man. Like, nobody wants a bad teammate, and at this point, I'm going to be a bad teammate. Like, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, man. I am sorry. Look, I'm the guy here. I done played, 4 years now, 3 years, right? I done gave the city, I done gave this team, this franchise, my everything. Right? I'm out here on bad ankles. I'm out here with a busted shoulder. Like, I'm doing everything I can to get this franchise where we trying to get to. This how y'all treat me?
Right.
This what? This what we doing?
Y'all go out here.
Man.
Work with this man out here.
Nah, man. No, man. I'm out here with the commercial with the keys to the building. And I gotta hand these keys over? Oh, you know how embarrassing that is? Nah, man. I'm good. I'm good on that. If I ain't good enough to start here, there is not 32 starting quarterbacks in this league better than me. Somebody will pick me up. Let me go. That's got Baker's mentality. That's Baker's mentality right there. Let me out of here.
It's gonna be a rough spot, man. That locker room's gonna be rough, man. They cannot let him in that locker room. They can't.
Right. And then you're creating a division of your own, right? Because you're gonna have folks that's gonna want to see what Deshaun can do.
Yeah.
And they can do that. That's their opinion. They can have that. But you also gonna have folks that's loyal to Baker.
Yep.
So this is my guy, man. I'm riding with Baker. If Baker don't play, I'm not playing. Blah 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 blah. Here we go.
It's gonna be like 2 or 3 guys.
Right. I mean, it's gonna be gotta be some key guys, but I think Baker has that in the locker room. I will say he has some support. I can say he has total support. Nah. I'm sure there's some support in the locker room for him.
Just 2 or 3.
Yeah. So guess what though? I'm gonna enjoy watching the show from my couch. However it shakes out. I'll be sitting right here watching.
Yep. I'll be right here with it.
Yeah, buddy. Right here.
We got it. We got the big game tonight, man. We hopefully we get one that we can latch on to, but again, not having high hopes for the final. So we although I hope I'm wrong. Hope Boston get in there and push into a game 7. And go from there.
However it shakes out, man, it's the last 8 games of the NBA season. The last 8 games of the NBA season.
Yeah. So
enjoy.
I said this to you, by the way. And listen, they're not a sponsor of the show, so this will be the only time I'm ever going to talk about it. But there's an app called Prize Picks.
Mm-hmm.
And what they allow you to do is you take any individual game. I've only done it for NBA. Haven't done it for, obviously, NFL hadn't been back yet. But when NFL gets back, I'll do it.
Mm-hmm.
But what you can do is you could take 3 or more players of any game.
Mm-hmm.
And you can do a full game, first half or second half.
Mm-hmm.
And all you got to do is put a wager down and you guess if they're going to go above or below the stated points on the app. I've been killing it.
I mean, it sounds easy in basketball. You already know who's.
Yeah, but you can. The good thing is you can kind of, again, what I normally do is I do the first half, and I get my earnings there. I double it up and do the same thing for the second half. But you can win one of 2 ways. You either get 2 out of 3 right, or you get all 3 right. And obviously, you get all three, you get max money. Or like my son, he did four players.
Mm-hmm.
He kept hitting all four, or he kept hitting 3 out of 4. He's been doing it the whole playoffs. So I sent you the app. Check it out, man. Anybody else listening out there, it's another way to
tips from Jeremiah, man. He 4 for 4 over there.
Hey, he showed me his phone. I was like, okay, I see you over there.
Oh, shucks. I see you. Yeah, man. I'm need a little coaching tips on that, man. I'm going to get in on that.
So for comedy purposes with the app, they had Draymond first half over under 3.5 points. And I just started laughing.
Sad part is, man, that's not even a guaranteed bet because you don't know what he's gonna do first half.
That's what I'm saying.
You don't have no clue what he's gonna do. He might come out and get 2 layups, man, and you good. Might come on, not take a field goal at all.
Right.
You be stuck. You be stuck, man. So yeah, that's sad. That's bad. That's bad right there.
Yeah.
But yeah, man.
Cool. We're ready for it, man. What else we got before we head out?
Man, I don't really have much, man. Obviously, I mean, it goes without saying, praying for the families out in Texas, man, with that situation. Yeah. It's always tragic, and it's not getting any better. Sad part. But in the words of Steve Kerr, man, the thoughts and prayers ain't working. Yep. The moments of silence ain't working, right? Like we have to do something. And like I said, we have to find a way in order to sway the decision makers in DC to do something about this, man.
Totally agree.
I got young girls, man. They go to school. I got like my oldest is 10. She just got student of the year, by the way. So I'm gonna shout her out.
Shout out. Congratulations.
Yes, indeed. You know what I'm saying? She's been on the road since the first day she walked into campus. So she's excited about going to school. I don't want her to lose that. Yep. I don't want her to get sidetracked or taken off her studies in any kind of way. So I really want this to get handled. And then, my 3-year-old is getting ready for pre-K. So we're looking at schools now for her, and this is part of the process now. Like, what are we doing safety-wise, right? That's a question now. Like, so.
Big deal.
I don't know, man. We just got to do better as a country. But trying to end it on a positive note, I'm sure you got something for us, man.
Yeah, man. I mean, for me, it's
trivia.
The trivia.
No more high court situations at the Supreme Court.
You know what? I wasn't prepared for one today, man. I definitely got one. Actually, we Tara gave me some good ideas, man. We got a little in this filler space right here. We great close out.
Mm-hmm.
We got some games. We'll me and you gonna cue it up and like polish it up. I like the ideas, but we're gonna polish it up and make it the Life Zone style. So
okay, let's do it, man.
We'll work on that in the upcoming. So you guys listening out there, be ready for that. It's actually the audience will be able to participate too. So
that's always a plus. It's always a plus.
Cool. All right, man. Take us home, man.
Hey, man. Shout outs to Appliance Medic and Face Consulting for the sponsorship. Thanks to you guys watching on YouTube as always. Rate us, review us, share us, tell a friend. You tell a friend. We tell a friend. Continue to build this thing, man. Enjoy Game 7 tonight. We'll be talking about it next time. Final start on Thursday, man. Last 8 games of the NBA season. Race to 16 is down to 5. Let's go. Hey, with that all being said, man. Peace.